Hey everyone, hi.
Yeah. We're continuing our investigation into how alcohol affects blood. This time, we've got, the drink of the gods, as many call it. Or, as I call it, the drink of slaves. It's the well-known beer, a low-alcohol beverage. And let's see how beer affects blood. I think a lot of people will find this interesting and useful. Right now, we are currently looking at the evening blood sugar levels after having a relatively light dinner. The red blood cells aren't clumped together much, and the flow is average. The condition of the blood is actually looking quite good for the evening, especially when you consider that it's after dinner. At this moment, we are currently observing the blood under a magnification level of 2,500 times, and when viewing it at this specific level, you can clearly see that the blood is a bit acidic, only by a very small margin, and the red blood cells have some small clumps forming within them. That's actually when I started working on improving my blood, when I noticed it was highly acidic. Those stacks of red blood cells, like coins, were really pronounced back then. From that point on, I improved my blood a lot. It became much better. So even after eating, specifically after a very light dinner, the acidity level is still quite minimal. Now we are looking at the blood sample under our favorite magnification, exactly 5,000 times. At this magnification, we can see a lot more. For instance, we can clearly observe eosinophils, which are essentially slightly damaged red blood cells. They have a very distinct look, appearing much like tiny little hedgehogs under the microscope. You can easily spot them throughout the sample, and their presence serves as a very clear and definitive sign of high acidity levels in the body. And you can also see how the red blood cells have deteriorated. These are, so to speak, abnormal red blood cells. The main thing for us at this magnification is to see how many bacteria are in the blood. This is a very important point, and an important factor. Even if we've just had dinner, there should be a lot of bacteria. But if there aren't that many bacteria, even after eating, that's actually a very good sign. Later on, I'll explain all the details, how this is connected to health in general, longevity, and rejuvenating the body. So, an hour has passed. During this time, I drank 2 bottles of beer, each 500 milliliters. So I drank a liter of beer. Now, let's take a closer look at this specific blood sample. The result is immediately obvious. The alcohol has affected the blood. The fluidity improved right away. The individual red blood cells began to drift apart slightly. At this magnification, you can see that the red blood cells have started to adhere to one another slightly, forming what we call rouleaux. But now we'll examine the sample at a much higher magnification. It's not completely evident from this particular viewpoint. At this moment, we are observing the blood at a magnification level of 2,500 times. And here, it is exceptionally easy to see that these rouleau formations have gotten significantly longer. And that provides us with a significant amount of valuable information. But most importantly, it crucially shows us that the blood has become significantly more acidic, and you can see that very clearly with this noticeable change. This is a 5,000 times magnification. Let's also take a look at what's happening with the bacteria. As we can see, the number of bacteria hasn't increased, but it hasn't decreased either. I see a couple of bacteria here and there. Here, 2, 3, 4. So just a small amount, really not many at all. You can also observe these distinct rouleau formations right here. You can clearly see them in this area. There are several long rows and multiple thick layers. Well, right here we have a very interesting result to look at. You can clearly see the significant changes that happened in the blood after drinking the beer. Think for yourselves. In the very next video, I'll probably do a detailed experiment to see exactly how drinking vodka affects the blood in your body. I think a lot of people will find that interesting too. Alright friends, that's it for now. Time to say goodbye. Until the next experiment. Bye bye.